In the war-torn city of Hive Anathrax, where the shadows seemed to writhe with unseen terrors, a group of Psykers treaded the razor's edge between sanity and damnation. Their powers, harnessed from the warp, had become both a blessing and a curse, for in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, the line between psychic mastery and the malevolent forces of the warp was perilously thin. Hive Anathrax, once a towering metropolis of steel and hive spires, now stood as a ghost of its former glory. The air was thick with the stench of industrial decay, and the streets were littered with the remnants of forgotten lives. Broken machinery and abandoned manufactorums whispered of a time when the city had thrived under the banner of the Imperium. Now, the shadows harbored unseen terrors, and the people of Anathrax lived in perpetual fear of both the Xenos beyond the walls and the madness seeping into the city from within. Inquisitor Seraphina Drakon, a stern enforcer of the Imperial Creed, led the Psykers under her watchful eye. Tasked with harnessing their psychic potential to combat the encroaching darkness, the Psykers delved into the warp's secrets, seeking forbidden knowledge to turn the tide of war in favor of the Imperium. Drakon had seen countless Psykers rise and fall, their potential either harnessed or consumed by the warp's insidious grasp. She maintained a calculated distance from her charges, aware that any attachment could cloud her judgment. Yet Malachi had been different. His raw potential and eagerness to serve the Emperor had reminded her of the ideals she herself had once aspired to. She had taken a personal interest in his training, believing that with discipline he could become a beacon for others. Watching him succumb to the warp's whispers was not only a failure of his will, but a bitter wound to her own convictions. Among the Psykers was Malachi, a young and ambitious adept with a talent for telepathy. His mind, once a vessel of untapped potential, became a battleground for the warp's insidious influence. Late at night, Malachi's dreams were haunted by visions of forbidden realms where demonic entities danced on the precipice of reality. Malachi's dreams grew darker with every passing night. He saw himself standing atop a tower of blackened steel, his hands ablaze with unholy light. Below, countless figures knelt in silent worship, their faces obscured by shadow. The voice in his dreams grew clearer, more commanding as it whispered of destiny and domination. He awoke each time with the taste of ash on his tongue and the sensation of invisible chains tightening around his soul.
Malachi, do you see it? The throne of stars awaits you. The Emperor is but a shadow. Your destiny lies here, with us.
No, I serve the Emperor. I am loyal to the Imperium.
Your loyalty is a lie. Power is truth. Take it and the galaxy will kneel before you.
Driven by a thirst for power, Malachi secretly delved into the tomes of the Forbidden Library, seeking incantations that would amplify his psychic abilities. The warp, ever hungry for souls, seized upon his vulnerability, whispering secrets that promised dominion over minds and the unraveling of the fabric of reality. As Malachi's powers grew, so too did the darkness that clung to his soul. Shadows whispered macabre truths, and the once bright corridors of his mind became twisted labyrinths where reality and nightmare intertwined. The other Psykers began to notice subtle changes in Malachi. His once vibrant presence now carried an oppressive weight, like a storm cloud on the verge of breaking. Their own powers faltered in his presence, as if the warp recoiled from the malevolence he exuded. Around him, machinery malfunctioned, and the air seemed to hum with a sinister resonance.
Have you felt it? Malachi's aura. It's wrong. Dark. Even for us.
It's just the strain of war. We're all touched by the warp, some more than others.
No, it's something more. The warp doesn't just touch him. It lingers. Like it's waiting for him to fall.
Drakon, sensing the growing malevolence, confronted Malachi, her eyes stern and unwavering.
Your path teeters on the brink, Malachi. The warp seduction will devour your soul if you do not master its whispers. You are treading dangerous ground, Malachi. The warp whispers promises, but they are poison. I've seen it before, and I will not let you be consumed.
You don't understand. The Emperor's light is dim. What choice do we have but to seek power where we can? I can do what others cannot.
You are not a god, Malachi. You are a weapon forged for the Imperium. Stray from that purpose, and I will end you myself.
But Malachi, intoxicated by the warp's promises, dismissed her counsel. He believed himself invincible, a conduit for the very essence of the warp. His telepathic abilities grew exponentially, allowing him to pluck thoughts from the minds of the enemy and manipulate the battlefield with a mere thought. One fateful night, as the city lay shrouded in darkness, a rift in the fabric of reality tore open. From the warp's depths emerged a host of demonic entities, drawn by the beacon of power emanating from Malachi's tortured soul. The city, once a bastion of Imperial strength, became a battleground between the Imperium's forces and the malevolent warp spawn. Drakon, recognizing the gravity of the situation, marshaled the Psykers to confront the demonic incursion. Malachi, now a pawn of the warp's whims, stood at the forefront, his eyes ablaze with eldritch light. The Psykers, their powers augmented by the very force they sought to control, engaged in a psychic duel against the demonic entities. Drakon stood firm, her psychic shield shimmering as Malachi advanced.
You were supposed to be a weapon of the Emperor's will. Instead, you've become a puppet of the warp. Was it worth it, Malachi? Was the price of power worth your soul?
Malachi's laughter echoed like a broken hymn.
You don't understand, Drakon. The Emperor's light is but a shadow compared to the truth I've seen. I am more than a man. I am the future.
He raised his hand, and the air around him crackled with raw psychic energy.
And you, Inquisitor, are nothing but a relic.
Drakon, wielding her psychic abilities, confronted Malachi amidst the chaos.
You are lost, Malachi. The warp's promises are but illusions, and your soul is forfeit.
Malachi, consumed by the warp's malevolence, retorted with a surge of psychic energy that sent Drakon reeling.
It's too late, Drakon. The warp has already claimed me. I am the harbinger of a new age.
As the battle reached its zenith, Malachi's psychic powers reached a fever pitch. Reality itself fractured, and a colossal warp rift tore open above the city. The demonic entities poured forth in an unending tide, the very fabric of the Imperium unraveling in their wake. The warp's whispers reached a maddening crescendo as Malachi stood at the epicenter of the chaos.
You are ours, Malachi. Let the Imperium burn, and we shall make you a god.
Drakon, standing amidst the ruins, glared at him with unyielding determination.
You've doomed us all, Malachi, but I will not let you take the rest of this city with you.
In a final act of desperation, Drakon channeled the collective psychic might of the remaining Psykers.
This is our moment. We hold the line, or we let the warp consume us all. You know the cost. Will you stand with me?
We've already given our lives to the Imperium. If this is how it ends, so be it.
Then let's ensure it's not the end.
With a surge of raw power, they closed the warp rift, banishing the demonic entities back to the immaterial realm. The city, scarred by the psychic cataclysm, lay in ruins. Malachi, his mind shattered, and his body a vessel for the warp's torment, crumpled to the ground. Drakon, her gaze heavy with the weight of the Imperium's sacrifices, approached the fallen Psyker. Drakon knelt beside him, her voice cold but tinged with sorrow.
You could have been great, Malachi. A weapon in the Emperor's hand. Instead, you let the warp devour you.
The warp lied. It always lies, but I was so close.
Drakon stood, her voice hardening as she turned away.
Close to damnation. Rest now, Malachi. The Emperor's judgment will follow.
As dawn broke over the devastated city of Hive Anathrax, the survivors surveyed the wreckage. The warp's whispers had subsided, leaving behind a city haunted by the specter of its descent into madness. Drakon, her inquisitorial gaze unyielding, contemplated the cost of harnessing the warp's power in the name of the Imperium. The Psykers, scattered and scarred, reflected on the price of their psychic abilities.
Remember this. The warp promises power, but its cost is always greater than what we can bear. We survive today, but the Imperium will demand more of us tomorrow. Be ready.
The warp's whispers, once promises of unimaginable power, had exacted a toll measured in the lives lost and the fractured minds left in their wake. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, the line between savior and heretic, between Psyker and vessel, remained a treacherous path walked only by those willing to pay the price of power.